is Jenny. I'm here today to do the hashtag wear a mask tag that was created by Brian from Bookish, and I wanted to do this to support him. He's a wonderful person, and I think that his motivations behind this tag are very, very important and very timely, obviously. So what the point of this tag is to just encourage people to wear masks and to understand that in this pandemic, it is really, really going to improve your chances of not unknowingly giving someone this virus, and B, your chances of developing somewhat of immunity to the virus. And that's kind of some new research that's just coming out about how masks actually encourage or have less of the droplets coming through, so that you may get a less severe version of the virus if you are exposed. So it's really, really important to just think about global health. This isn't about politics. This isn't about conspiracies. This is just about us as collective humans trying not to infect each other with something that could be very minor for you to experience, but could be very severe for someone else to experience. It's really about decentering. That's a really important word right now. Decentering yourself from the middle of everything and kind of putting yourself on a global scale and thinking about how your participation in society affects others. So if you struggle with that and everything comes down to you and your place, just maybe think about putting others in this situation ahead of your own desires or your own thoughts right now, and just try to think about everyone as a collective in this moment. So, not going to rant anymore about that. The point of this tag, or the kind of goal of this tag, is to present 3 books that are about wearing a mask, about concealing identity, or about wearing some sort of a head covering. So my books are all kind of about identity and concealing identity for some reason or another. So the first one I wanted to talk to you about is Kingston by Starlight by Christopher John Farley. This is a wonderful adventure story of a woman named Anne Bonny who becomes a pirate and jumps onto a pirate ship. And when she's doing that, she conceals her identity as a woman and becomes a man. And so that happens with several of the characters in this book. And this book really is about identity, how we embrace some parts of ourselves and hide others. The challenge for a woman living in the time period of the 19th century to have a life of adventure when they are, of course, being subjected to the patriarchal culture around them, where they're expected to only be a certain way. And that book is really about challenging those things. And I think that Christopher John Farley really did a great job in exploring those themes of identity, hiding identities, and where that all falls into place when it comes to gender. So it was a really interesting read that I would recommend. Next book I'd like to recommend is Purge by Sofi Oksanen, and it was translated by Lola Rogers. This is a really interesting novel set in Estonia, and it takes place during a few different generations. It's told in kind of past and present through the eyes of Alide True, who is an older woman, and Zara. And what happens in the story, it's very complex, but this is more about how living under certain political regimes can cause you to have to hide and conceal parts of your identity. It's also about being a family and what family means. Zara becomes a victim of sex trafficking, and she kind of works her way back to this area of Estonia that from Russia, where she feels she's called to go and to discover the history of where she came from. And Alide is a person who conceals a lot of her own emotions, but is a very like highly passionate person underneath. So it's a lot of political turmoil, revolution, hiding, and it's got a lot of action, but also a lot of really interesting insights into where truth lies within a person and how you can kind of redeem yourself in different moments of your life depending on the circumstances that are presented to you. And so my last book in this category is The Blazing World by Siri Hustvedt. And this book is really interesting to me because I read it several years ago, and I only gave it 3 stars. I had some serious trepidations with parts of this book and how it was structured, but this book also had some beautiful passages, and its overall themes have really stuck with me. So this book follows Harriet Burden, who is also sometimes called Harry, and she is a artist living in New York. And what she has determined over the years is that she doesn't feel that her work is being taken seriously by the New York art world or by the art world in general because she is a woman. And so she devises this scheme to hire 2 young men. So one starts off and then he leaves, and then another one comes into the story later, to assume an identity. And she puts her work on display, but says that they made it. And then she kind of observes how these men are treated versus how she would have been treated. And I believe, this is very fuzzy in my memory, but I believe one of the pieces that she creates is actually some sort of a mask reference. And I think there might be quite a few mask references actually in some of the work that's described. So this also applies to the tag. I think this book also looks at identity in a very interesting way. Harriet is a very tormented person. She has a lot of issues and self-loathing, and that's all wrapped up into the art that she's making. And so there's certainly a sense of melancholy about this book. There's also different perspectives. So you hear from her daughter, you hear from her son. And the book is being told through the narrative of a journalist who's telling her story posthumously. So, it's an interesting look at a lot of different aspects of the art world through a gendered perspective of a woman artist. But it has a lot more in there too. And I think some of the things that I didn't pick up on, some of the things relating more to philosophy and mathematics and things like that, would be something that other people would really enjoy. So check it out. It's a really interesting book, and it really does explore, again, layers of identity and who we really are and how we present ourselves, and how we internalize that a lot of the time as well. So that's it for me today. Thank you very much for watching. Please consider wearing masks when you go outside. It's really important right now. And I'll be back again soon with another video.